Why are there pig teeth that are 4 million years ago at Lake Turkana, miles from anywhere, and why do they look so different from the pig teeth that you find today? It was my grandparents who set foot in Olduvai, and against all conventional thinking at that time, finally found the evidence that put Africa on the map as the place that we all came from. I'm Louise Leakey, and I'm at Stony Brook University in Long Island in the anthropology department there. But I actually live and work in Kenya, and that's where I grew up, was born. I have my family there. I am part of a long legacy of Leakeys, let's say. It was my grandparents who worked at Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania, and then my parents have spent their lives working up in Lake Turkana in northern Kenya. And then I got involved largely after my father had an accident, and I needed to go up and help my mother run a field expedition, and then never really left. And so I got more and more involved at Lake Turkana in terms of running the logistics and coordinating field teams, and I fly an aeroplane, and therefore it's obviously convenient in terms of getting to the very north of the country. And it's incredibly difficult to find those fossils, and obviously the more eyes that are out there looking, the better. But it's real teamwork, and it involves working with dedicated young men and women, largely drawn from local communities. And that's what actually leads us to finding fossils that we can then use to answer these pressing questions about who we are and where we came from. Because if we could actually use the technology we have today in a sort of Google Earth type platform with very high resolution imagery and make it available to volunteers worldwide so that they could actually help us to browse these images, essentially walking virtually over this landscape, and we could teach you what it is that you're looking for. That's a fossil, that's a stone. And so that you can then begin to learn what we're actually doing in the field and point out these little pieces of bone fragment to us. Now, if a certain fragment gets enough interest or looks promising, we can then actually mobilize the team to go out there and collect that specimen. And we could bring it back into a laboratory, which we have on the ground in the north, in the lake basin. And we could then clean that specimen up. You could watch it over a digital camera or a digital webcam. And then you could actually 3D scan it. We could resin print this and actually send it to you with the information about that fossil that you found. All of this is completely doable. Finding these fragments of bone and actually being able to say that's a monkey tooth, you really have to have very good resolution to do this. And so that will involve flying unmanned aircraft or a very slow-moving aircraft that's stable enough to hold a camera that can process the images fast enough that you can actually get the resolution down to the 2 millimeters that we need to be able to make this possible. You could be an armchair paleontologist.